Yesterday was AEW's 2022 Grand Slam from Arthur Ashe Stadium, which I thought the only thing I got to say right off the bat before we talk about it that I personally thought dumb, that's a 23,000 seat stadium, but they had it blocked off, which I understand you got to block things off for TV, to 10,000 people. Why would you need to block off half of that fucking arena? I don't get it.
Unless it was half empty.
Yeah, that could be too. MJF needed a whole section.
Yeah, I seen him sitting there at the end. Uh, I had thought he was going to come down and do something, but I guess it doesn't work that way with the chip as Money in the Bank does, I guess.
I think the plan now is for him to fight for the title at full year. So who's ever, the Mox won. I mean, getting ahead of ourselves, but he'll only be champ till what then November. So another short run.
I wonder who they're going to drop the strap to so they could give it to MJF, whatever his name is. You know what I mean?
I could see Mox doing a job.
I don't think he gives a shit, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? And he's got some kind of awesome deal over there because he's able to work for AEW, be the AEW champion, and then also work for indie promotions. So, I mean, they got to be giving him a lot of freaking money for these indie promotions.
So what'd you think to start out at the beginning? We had the opening match. I hated it. Just my 2 cents. Jericho, this week he was the Wizard, Chris Jericho, and he fought Cesaro. Was he Claudio Castagnoli, who comes down to a remix of the Caddyshack theme music? But what is it? I never got into Ring of Honor. Is the code of honor? You got to shake the hands and no cheating and all this bullshit. But what'd you think of the match?
I thought it was a good match, regardless. You know what I mean? I've always liked the guy that had the title. I don't know what the fuck did they call
Claudio.
him? Claudio. I met him back in the day when I had my wrestling school. He was actually going to Chikara's wrestling school, and we were out of the same building. And as they would shut down their school, I would open up the ECW school. And I remember seeing him. He had long black hair back then. I didn't even know it was him until a friend of mine told me it was him now. I had to yell at him because I was watching him take a bump over the top rope and he wouldn't hook the rope. He would just fall on his legs. And I remember walking by and I said to him, if you don't hook that rope one of these days, bro, you're just going to come down on that apron and crack your neck wide open and say it's going to be over. And I said, that's what I'm saying. He looked at me and said, okay, no problem. And I was just like, I never really got along with the Jakara guy. I don't know what his problem is. He always had a problem with me and my partner. But, yeah, then come on later on down the road, years and years later, he's on television and somebody said, yeah, that's the kid you hollered at that day at our school. And I was like, I didn't even realize it was him. But he's a hell of a worker. I knew they were going to have a good match from the get-go because he's really easy to work with and Jericho's easy to work with. But they did put the time in, and I got to admit, I think from top to bottom was a good show. I was actually very happy that the Acclaim won. They got the tag titles, which was about time. The finish was a little weird. I guess nobody wanted to really look bad as far as Swerve and the other guy, Keith Lee. But it was a good match. I'm not going to lie.
Why do you think they gave Jericho that title, though? Do you think it was just so? Because Claudio just won it. Ring of Honor is not on TV, so in my opinion, then it doesn't count if they're just going to do a couple pay-per-views a year. But you think it was just so Jericho could now be champion in WCW, WWE, AEW? Do you think it was just an ego thing?
Yeah, he just wanted the strap, so he has it, and nobody could say anything about it. You know what I mean? And like you said, it's not even on TV anymore, so I don't even know why they're even bringing it over there. I don't get it. So
all I can assume is he bought the company for the tape library.
Yeah, but how? I understand the tape library, but how important is that library? I mean, come on.
I guess Ring of Honor owned the footage from their very first pay-per-view, the very first one they ever did, because all those guys were working for him at the time. But you could have just got a deal where you bought that.
I mean, I had heard, I did meet the guy who said he had sold everything, and he told me he was working for New Japan Pro Wrestling. That's what he had. I never was really in the Ring of Honor.
No, me either. And that was started by Rob. I thought he said 18 Feinstein too. I remember back in the day.
It was he probably started it back in the day and probably sold it and made money off of it. I mean,
yeah,
everybody back in the day, everybody was selling shit. And all they're doing is selling 3 letters. Like Combat Zone was, CZW. I mean, I would have never thought somebody would actually pay money for that.
Yeah, I see a lot of indie companies that, well, I'm going to sell everything I own. It was like, I can buy a ring somewhere. I have to have a new belt made because your logo's on it. Yeah, like you said, you're buying letters.
I don't understand. I mean, like some people buy it and next thing you know, they got it bigger. I get it. But like I used to work for 3PW, Pro Wrestling Unplugged. Now I see these names being used today other places. So I'm like, who the hell sold it to them? It wasn't me.
We mentioned the second match, the Acclaimed. I thought that should have, my opinion, should have been the main event. I get you got to have the heavyweight title first, but or last. That crowd was so into that match. I mean, it was almost like they could duplicate what they had at the pay-per-view and they just made it right this time.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's a couple mess ups here and there, but like I said, if you're a worker, you could see it. If you're not going to be able to notice. Other than that, I liked how Billy got involved a little bit, get him that push. I thought it was really good. I got to admit, it was a great match. But I could see they were building it up to give it to the Acclaim. You know what I mean? They just had it coming to him. The Keith Lee, but he's got some unbelievable skills, man.
So does I like Swerve a lot too. I like all those weird kicks and stuff. I can't believe both of them. I can't believe WWE let both of those guys go.
Especially Keith Lee. He's so big and he's working like Bam Bam Bigelow out there, man. It was crazy with everything he could do,
Did you catch Taz even mention that in the commentary? He said he used to work with Bam Bam and all that. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, Taz has to. Of course he has to, just to get himself over. You know what I mean? So, and he did have a good match against Bam Bam back in the day. I remember that match.
Hey, I like the one where the ring broke. That one was really cool. The one where the ramp broke, I didn't think was as good, but that first one they had, I did like that a lot.
When they fell into the ring and the hole was in the ring.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. I remember watching that when I was in ECW in the back and we were watching it. I don't know how they worked around that hole without falling in it sooner. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they were second to last on the card. So, no, I like the Acclaim match. I think it was pretty obvious the Acclaimed were going to win. But
yeah, you could see it throughout the match. They were just building it up.
I liked it. That was my favorite match of the night. I was so happy when they won. I think the world was happy when they won.
They needed to win. The people wanted to see them win. And honestly, I can't believe how over the tag team is.
And what I like his little rap, what he say, we're gonna run you out of town faster than Cuomo. I know was one of his lines. Yeah. He always has some good stuff that he comes up with.
He does. I don't know if they're saying that in his headphones and he just sings it right, like raps it as they say it. All I know is they were a heel team and now it seems like they're a baby face team and over like Rover now.
I noticed, and I ordered one for myself and my son, $100 each, but we had to. Yesterday at 1:00, I got the notification from Pro Wrestling Tees, Acclaim basketball jerseys like he wears finally went on sale. And that to me, when I looked at it, I was like, they're getting the straps. If they're already selling these limited edition $100 jerseys, they're going to win tonight.
They're $100 jerseys.
Yeah. I mean, it is a legitimate knitted basketball jersey. It says Platinum Max on it.
So now they're going to make some bank on some merchandise, I'll tell you that.
See, my son knows, people at home can't see this, but my son knows how much I like him. There's their autograph right up there.
Yeah, I see it.
What'd you think of the next match with Pac against my man Orange Cassidy, who in my opinion should have fucking won that match and that title?
I thought they were going to give it to what's his name?
Orange,
yeah, because I mean they kept him strong. I like how they made him still look strong, even though he did the job. But Pac don't need 2 freaking belts. I mean, it just doesn't. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense why he would have 2 straps.
No, and Orange has been there. He was another one. He's been there since the beginning. He's one of the most over guys on the company. Give him a damn belt already. I just want to see him drag it like he doesn't care or have somebody carry it for him. I just want to see that. Yeah,
but technically, if you go to their shows, I mean, he really don't need a strap to get over because he's already so over. I mean, in wrestling companies, I mean, a lot of marks out there don't know it, but sometimes they'll throw a belt on somebody because they need to have that belt to get over. I mean, that's just that's just the business that we're in. Orange Cassidy's over, like I said. I mean, I think they had a really good match. It was competitive, but having Pac having to cheat the win didn't make any sense to me because he's such a great worker. But like I said, they're still trying to keep Orange strong, so they got to keep him up there.
The only thing that I didn't like, you said, makes you look weak because Pac's so good, and he's a big guy, or at least he looks very big. Orange is in better shape, but he's still skinny. So the fact this big jack dude had to hit the other guy with a, never in my life have I seen a hammer on that fucking table, but there was sometimes they give it away with when they have stuff like that out there. But
oh yeah, it's already set up, and you know what's going to happen. I mean, I knew it was going to be a fuck finish. I just didn't think that it would have been like that. But like I said, I understand they want to keep Orange Cassidy strong. I saw some previews. Was Muda there last night filming for Friday night?
They recorded the Friday night show after that, of course, and during the Malachi, or not Malachi's gone, during the House of Black Darby Sting brawl, Muda did come out and spit in one of the House of Black guys' face, for a big pop, and then him and Sting hugged each other.
So now that's supposed to be a 2-hour event on Friday.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it just because I love battle royals, and they're doing the golden ticket where the winner gets a shot at Moxley on the following week's show or some shit like that. Spoiler, it's Hangman Adam Page.
Pretty much, I wouldn't doubt it. They should have never took the strap off of him.
No, he should have held it until he dropped it to MJF.
Exactly. I don't know why, unless they're going to put it back on him and then have him drop it. Like I said, I mean, who knows who's going to get it? Because everybody knows MJF's going to get it next.
What'd you think of MJF's promo with Wheeler Yuta, or what he kept calling him, Wheelie? I mean, I don't get why Wheeler was out there. I mean, he was out there to be interrupted, but what'd you think of MJF's promo?
Just another promo that he cuts, in New York, which is his people anyway. I can't believe how, for being a heel, he's over and over, in New York.
You could ask your hero, Bryan Danielson, but he's punchy. You can't ask Moxley. He don't know nothing. You can learn how to pop pills from William Reed. And apologize. I got a barking dog. My dog doesn't like MJF. I guess I like MJF. I'm wearing his shirt.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I know. I really like, but yeah, like you said, he's supposed to be the top heel of the company. And when he comes out, he gets a standing ovation now.
Yeah. It's like a Stone Cold. He's the heel and he turned into a face. That happens.
A lot of technical difficulties with these crazy dogs today, but with the girls' match was next. That was my time to go to the bathroom. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, everybody goes to the bathroom when the girls come on. Again, at the end of the match, they send that girl out there, supposedly who's against the dentist chick, and then she's like, "Oh, we're friends now." It doesn't make any sense. Why in the hell did they even? That was the stupidest angle I've ever seen. Like they didn't know what they were doing with that.
I want to talk to you about the end of that match, but so I'll skip it. Or at least the results. Tony Storm won, kept her belt, but the main event was Mox against Danielson for the title. What did you? I thought the match was, as a fan, boring as shit compared to their other matches that were bloodbaths. What did you think of the match from a worker standpoint?
I thought it was a good match. A lot of chops, a lot of kicks. I mean, both their chests were ripped apart. I mean, they worked hard. It just made sense to me watching that match. They told a good story. A lot of good, false finishes that were in there. It could have went either way. I liked how they did the finish where he just passed out pretty much. He couldn't tap.
Were you shocked Moxley won? I was kind of figuring Danielson was going to get it because Mox has already had it a few times.
I honestly, that's what I thought. But then as I watched it, I realized, Danielson was getting about 80% of that match, more offense than anything. So I had a feeling Mox was going to go over. Then MJF is just sitting up there making his facial expressions. And you could tell he was trying to time it every time the camera went on him, and he was messing up a couple times and trying too hard. But, looking at the match and shaking his head, and I'm sure he said to himself, I got to step my game up if I got to get in there with one of them guys. That just goes without say. That's one thing I noticed about MJF is his promos are on and everything like that, but his work has to get a little better. I mean, just to be in the ring with those guys and be able to hang with them, especially for a title. I mean, I don't think he realizes how hard it is to be a champion, and hold that championship title. It's a lot of stress on you, man. It's a lot of, you got to put some 5-star matches in all the time. You're going to have that belt. I remember I never wanted that belt in ECW because there was a lot of stress holding that belt, man. I mean, just having the TV belt and the tag belts was stress enough for me. I never wanted that heavyweight strap. Never was interested in having it. I just knew it was going to be a lot of work if you do have it.
Overall, what kind of grade would you give the show last night?
I think it was a good show. I'd give it 8 out of 10. Like I said, it destroyed that pay-per-view. It was so much better than that pay-per-view, and I paid $60 for that pay-per-view. And I was pissed afterwards because it sucked.